Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iGPFun-F3 series presented by VRS. Here at Donington Park Race Circuit, I'm Austin I. I'm joined by Joshua Lee. We got Marco Barbadera in the production booth, and it is a lovely day here at Donington Park for some F3 action. What do you think, Josh?
I'm excited for this race. These lap times keep getting faster and faster as qualifying keeps going. And we have two drivers in the 59s, everybody else in the minute mark. It's going to be a race to get under that minute mark during the race. And I think with 45 laps, it's going to be a game of tires, it's going to be a game of strategy, and also a game of raw speed.
Now, it's the national circuit here today. My favorite version of Donington Park. It's got that very tricky chicane leading up to the front straight and across the line, so expect some very daring dives as they head towards the finish here.
Looking at the 29 of Raul Hyman, he currently holds your fastest time here in qualifying, 59.887. A 59.981 put up by Matt Laubser is the second place time, and then you go back to third place, that's Stratus Kurlakitsis with 1 minute and 54. And he just jumps up to second, 59.948. The times keep climbing as we now have three drivers under 1 minute.
Yeah, three drivers under a minute, and what a lap at Kurlakitsis to jump all the way 600ths of a second behind Raul J. Hyman. And the national circuit, it's a very small circuit, so anytime you're getting, that is going to be a massive advantage during the race. And oh, Luca gets very loose coming out under the bridge. This is Christopher Herberno going through that chicane. Makes very good use of it. And now the difference between the National and the Grand Prix circuit is, well, the Grand Prix, instead of going right, you go left, and there's a hairpin, then there's another hairpin, and that's the difference. So, National's more fun, in my opinion. Then again, I'm a sadist.
Dave Martin comes across the line, does not improve his time, 1 minute 373. Now looking at Kuji Ito, 1 minute 890 for him on the board, 34th currently in that 36, and he's going to abandon that lap he just went on to. So further down the rankings, Giovanni Saletto with 101.739. We'll see if he can improve from 49th. And it doesn't look like he will. That 101.739 is going to remain his best time as 17 seconds remain on the clock for everybody else to get their times into qualifying before we grid up for the race.
Yeah, race number one had a astounding 62-car grid. We're going to have a 51-car grid, and why the drop in 10 places? Well, Donington Park only has 51 grid spots available for these guys. So they've maxed out the pit lane here at Donington, which is absolutely amazing. But you're going to see 51 F3 cars take it to the track right now as we're getting ready to go racing here at Donington Park. And it's Raul J. Hyman starting up on pole with Stratos Kurlakitsis in second place, Matt Laubser in third, followed by Alex Alcaraz, Luca Verani, Philip Lucas, Mark Alcaraz, Vito Garcia, Christopher Herberno, Samuel Hermer, Lucas Marouk, Sonny Rosario, Nick Nagler, Richard Wedstead, Dave Martin, Marcus NG, Chuck Morrow, and Clark Williams in 18th, followed by Vincero Monroe, Ben E. White, Nith Carney, Yuri Besur, Kenneth Simon, Johnny Edgar, Russell Kirkwood, Andy Flint, Zachary Beeson, Dirk Provley, Lucas Lackner, Rod McGuire, Luciano Lorenzo, Stuart Minlow, Rod Korlach, Kuchi Ito, Antonio Ruzeski, Wadimar Cardella, Henry Robert, Zoltamore, that's an amazing last name, Jonathan Bergeson, Adam Talsma, Andrea Bruschetti, Nolan Adler, Steve Rubens, Clemens Punzengruber, Alaric Boss, Reed Dennis, JJ Gonzalez, Luke B. Ray in 48th, and behind them is Giovanni Stiletto, Richard Veen, and Tiago Andrade at the end of the grid. 51 cars all lined up, and they're about to get ready to go.
Huge grid, such a spectrum of lap times we saw going through qualifying. It's going to be exciting to see who really takes to it in the race. Will we see like what we saw last week at Watkins Glen, where the top three kind of run away with it? It's a battle with them for the win. Or will we see some cars come up from the back? 45 laps is quite a long time around here in Donington. It is going to be exciting. We're ready to go racing.
5 lights are coming on. And let's have some GP fun as these guys are getting ready to go. And here they go.
51 cars diving into turn 1.
Great start by Hyman. Caroline gets this around the outside, cuts his nose ahead of Laupser and Alcaraz. Right there, Herberto and Philip Lucas going side by side. And all these guys is trying to find some clean air right now.
Hyman getting away with the lead as they head through the back section. Oh, a little bit of loose from that 29. He had to catch that thing coming over the rumble strip, but he has the car under him now as they make their way back through the back part of this racetrack.
Oh, and around goes.
Oh, one's around.
Mark Alcaraz, Luca Ferrari are out, and that's a wheel and a tire off, and that is Mark Alcaraz's race. This is Luca Ferrari, who was also involved in that incident. A little bit of a spin. I believe that was Mark who went around first as Caroline gets this, and Raul are heading up to that chicane and finishing out lap number 1 of 45 here at Donington National. Should be a 45-minute race.
Going into turn 1.
All right, Caroline gets this all up in that draft, definitely hunting for that P1 spot, but Donington Park, especially the National Circuit, very hard to find a actual place to make a move here. So it's going to be working very hard on that rear end. Back behind him, Christopher Herberto is doing good. Back up front, Stratos. Caroline gets this on the gearbox of Raul J. Hyman. Late on the brakes. Down this back straight. Just looking down to the inside. Not enough money there to go for that chicane, especially this early in the race.
He's got the speed, though. He's able to get to a point where he can pass Hyman if he went for a move down the inside. And speaking of moves down the inside, that was Nick Naglier going down to the inside of Richard Wedstead for the spot. Look at this scrap heap heading down to 1.
3 wide heading into turn 1. Wedstead, Naglier, side by side. It's a great move by Wedstead, though, to get up into 11th.
Wedstead taking that spot in the 2. 1 car off track. That's Lucas Marouk in the 19. Doesn't look like any damage. Don't think he made contact with another race car. So everything good. Back to Richard Wedstead trying to hold off Nick Naglier, Marcus G, and the rest of this field behind him. And the 257, Chuck Moreau off track and slow. Wonder if he has some issues with that machine.
You know, it's just a massive wiggle. He went off track, and then everyone he was taking the right line just past him, but he should be going on very nicely right now. Sitting at 18th right now. Let's see if he can use that qualifying time to get back and try to move back up this field. But everyone, besides the leaders, are pretty much 2 by 2 right now in that massive pack from 7th on back. Actually, no, 10th back is a 2 by 2 fest.
Hyman just using this opportunity to keep pulling away. So we go back to Vitalo Garcia off track in the 22. Oh my, and he's already side by side with the 16. He is battling with Sonny Rosario. Rosario gonna give up the spot, not gonna go side by side with Vitalo Garcia. And there goes Garcia pulling away in 8th place. As the 16 now going to have his teammate, Lucas Marouk, right on him.
Yeah, Marouk on the bumper. Ooh, more of the gearbox, because Formula 3 cars do not have bumpers. If they did, I do not want to race in the Formula 3 series because that would just turn into go-karts. As these guys racing, ooh, very daring move by the number 2, Richard Wedstead, swooping back to the outside, right in front of the front wing of Johnny Edgar. And Edgar going side by side now with the 40. That'll be Wedstead and Edgar still going side by side underneath the bridge. Coming up the hill right now. Still side by side. Edgar's got the inside line. And Wedstead goes off. And speaking of going off, oh! That will be Ben White. And that'll be his race over.
Tough break for Ben White, just right into the wall. Nothing he could do there.
Edgar, Wedstead, Wedstead now sending it down to the inside to the chicane. And he's up into 13th. Correction, 12th.
Good move from Wedstead. Oh, one car peeked out back there. Marcus G around the outside. Clark Williams behind him. Oh, there's not enough room there, but it looks like the 40 of Johnny Edgar tried to send it down the inside, and he is still there on the 19.
What a switchback by Marouk.
Johnny Edgar going to take over 10th spot from Lucas Marouk, up 14 spots, and he's now in 10th.
Back up front between him and Kurlakitsis. Herman lost 0.2 of a second last lap. As they cross the line, we're going to see how he does this time by. And he's lost 0.06 of a second, so Kurlakitsis soon to be closing in even more as he sets the fastest lap of the race. 1:49.
So Kurlakitsis is fast, arguably faster than Raul Hyman right now, but he needs to find an opportunity to get past him. And you can look up forward on a wide shot, and you can see cars in front of them. They're going to have to deal with lapped cars, and that is going to influence how these two race each other and how they finish coming to the end of the 45-lap race. That is really going to throw a wrench in this lead battle. Just depending on how they race each other. Is down the inside, goes to 375, and Kurlakitsis not gonna make it happen.
He was trying to scare him on entry, see if he could get Hyman to back out of there. No luck there, but this track is full of Formula 3 cars. I feel like the lapped car is going to be playing a little pick and roll action here.
Kurlakitsis running right in that slipstream of Hyman, trying to catch him in any place possible. There they go through 4, now through 5. Racing up through this Donington Park circuit.
He's got so much speed up through that hill section. So they run out just a little bit before getting barely on the brakes. Just a tap right here. Got a little bit of a right-hand kink. And back on the throttle into the draft, and this is where Kurlakitsis gets his speed mostly. He's all up in that draft, looking down to the inside. It's a very dangerous move to even think about sending it from this far back. But both these guys, a little bit of curve, and Kurlakitsis is around! Kurlakitsis is around it in the wall!
That just goes to show how much those turtle curves can really upset these cars, and around goes Kurlakitsis on the front straight.
That is so unfortunate for Stratos right there. And it was just on the left-hander, just got onto that curb and it just upsets the car. And ooh, that was a good hit to the wall. Not sure if he has suspension damage with that back right tire. It looks to be fine though.
And I think he also would have been fine not spinning through that wreck if he didn't be on the rumble strip with those rear tires as well. Those rumble strips do not have a lot of grip, and when you're trying to save the car, the rumble strips is the last place you want to be.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to be on those rumble strips. So we're looking at the battle for 5th between Lucas and Hermer. They're going side by side. Oh, send by the Earth car. Hermer up into 5th.
Sable Hermer still having Philip Lucas in the 8 behind him. These two have been battling for a little while as one car comes out of pit road, a couple laps down. But Hermer takes over P5, and it looks like he is riding comfortably now. His gap to the car in front around 3 seconds. There you're looking at him right now. That's Christoph Herbenow. He looks in front to Matt Laubser, Alex Alcaraz.
On the inside, that was a 12. As we ride on board with Stanley Hermer with probably my favorite livery ever to date. He's running in that former Formula One team known as Honda in that Earth car. Also known as the Jensen Button car if you're Marco Barbonera, our producer.
Battle leading up a little further on back. Johnny Edgar and Vitalo Garcia. About a half car length between these two. Now we'll make that a full car length as they head through this back section. Through the hard turn 4. Sorry, that was actually turn 7 as they make their way up through and through turn 8. On to Starkey straight, heading down into turn 9 and 10. This final chicane down to the inside goes Johnny Edgar. Wheel to wheels at 40. The 22 gonna give up that spot.
Oh,
and around the contact.
No. The curb strikes again. Do we have like a death bell for that curb or something? We need a death count. I think it's at 3 or 4 right now. And
another car around the 12.
The 12's a lapped car. That is Luke Bray down in 41st place right now. He's currently sitting in a very dangerous position. If you look at our menu out, there's no real area where he can get back on track right now. After this 25th car, he can get back on track, but it's just a very small window, and I think he's going to go for it. But, oh, nice spin back on track, and keep it off the line so he can get back up to speed, and he's back on there. Back up front to Hyman and Alex Alcaraz now. Your battle for the lead.
Alex Alcaraz is closing. 1.17 second gap between these two. And you look at the lap breakdown. Faster 3 out of the last 5 laps. Oh, and Hyman really loose. What a save.
And that back end was wiggling a lot right there. But he got that save excellent there, but just look how much time he lost. 6/10 lost to Alcaraz, who is directly behind him right now. And that 26 is looking fast.
He needs to not mess up through this final chicane where everybody else has.
65 degrees in the air here at Donington Park. 92 degrees here on track with 86% humidity and a dew point of 1,018 HPA. Very gusty 15-mile-per-hour winds heading at a 241 degree, also known as southwest. There's your weather here at Donington Park. Back to Joshua in the booth.
Kurlik Hitzis making a move on the outside of Philip Lucas in the 8. Now cut back to the inside, and he's going to take that spot. 375 after wrecking on the front straightaway just a couple laps ago. Battling for the lead, went all the way back to 7th. He is now in 6th, trying to get back up to where he was. His next car in front is Samuel Hermer. As we hop back to a battle, this is the battle for 10th between the 16 of Sonny Rosario and Nick Nagler. 23 in the slipstream, trying to get as close as possible to make that pass as they come off of turn 8. the slipstream is the 23. Can he make the move? No, he won't. As they head through the chicane, the 16 using a bit of curve on the inside. It's a 257 of Chuck Marrow. Makes a move on Lucas Maruk, and he's going to take over 13th.
Yeah, Maruk, great line through the chicane. He had the speed right there. Up into 13th. This is also about for 34th. Gonzalez, Minley, Punzengruber, and Benson. And Benson is just closing in on Punzengruber ahead of him. And that beautiful car he's running in. Back to the battle for first between Alcaraz and Hyman. As they start to separate. We got a three-way fight between Nagler, Rosario, and G. 23, 16, and a 44. G's looking down to the inside of Rosario. Just getting his nose in there. I think that's more for safety than more for a attempt. But here comes G. Heading to the chicane. Side by side they go. G, Rosario. G lit on the brakes, and here he goes up into 11th.
Keeps the car under him, going over the curbs and over the rumble strips. Great work from that 44 as he gets 11th.
Absolutely fantastic work by G. Back up to Samuel Hermer and the other Earth car. I'm sure this is the donated charity car, but they look very similar.
Looking at Steve Rubens, scored in 44th currently on the racetrack, 2 laps down. We up to Giovanni Salido. Oh my goodness. A huge battle back here, and this is the battle for 26th. He's got Rod McGuire behind him, Stuart Milne, JJ Gonzalez. And this is a tight 4-car battle.
Rosario getting over to take it by the 247 of Maru. But Rosario holding down that inside line. Still they're going to go side by side. Maru's got a great run around the outside, heading into the S section down here. Down the hill they go. Rosario, Maru. But Rosario swung it down to the inside. And then cut in front of the nose.
He cut to the inside. There goes Chuck Morrow. He's going to be on the outside now, trying to hold on. He gets in the grass. Oh, he's around.
No.
Back to a battle. Christoph Herbino in 4th. There's one car around in the grass. I believe that was a lapped car.
Yeah, that might have been Kirkwood. That's the car in 48th, actually. That was Lackner. And oh my goodness, there's a party in the grass.
Oh, what?
Somebody called. I think these guys are a bit bored, and they might want to go to a beach party right there.
One car hard into the wall back there.
So much sand has just been spilled onto this track. What has happened right here? This is Ron Korlak, and massive lag into the 47. Then it was just a party. Here is Zeno Vinny Moreau. He's down to the inside, hard into the 52. And the 52 gets slammed around and RKO'd, unfortunately, into the wall.
Right now, everything on this track is just a game of survival right now to make it to the end of this race. We still have more than 25 laps to go.
It's absolutely awesome watching these guys run here. Averaging about 1 minute, 1 second lap time. So I'm saying about 50-minute race here at Donington. And these guys are putting on an absolutely massive show right now. And there's action all over the track.
Ivan's still leading the way.
Alex Alcaraz, 8/10 separate them, but they have pulled away from second place, not third place. It would be second place, and that would be Alex right on. I know how to count, I swear.
Hyman is doing a great job at leading this race right now because he is just running his own race, getting past these lap cars, not really worrying about the guys behind him because we saw him make a mistake, but he rebounded from that mistake really well by setting consistent lap times, not worrying about Alcaraz behind him. So Raul Hyman is doing an amazing job at leading. He's led every single lap since the outset. I would not be surprised if we see him lead every lap from here. As what is going on back here? A huge battle. Nick Carty, one car on the rumble strip, very slow.
Oh, no! Oh my goodness! And boom goes the dynamite. That was absolutely massive. It's a 51. Kevin Simonsen, and he's just going slow. He's got and oh no! Straight into. Is that Andy Flint that he hit? It was Andy Flint. Let's ride on board with Andy Flint right now. And he has no idea that there's a slow car right here, and oh, that's just. Oh.
Nowhere he could go. He was just trying to get into pit road, but did not see that 13 right there.
And while we were watching that, Raul J. Hyman pulled out a 1.5 second gap to Alcaraz right behind him.
1.2 seconds the gap between Hyman and Alcaraz. There's the 26 of Alcaraz. And he has a couple lap cars in between the two as well. 3-car battle back here. Kuji Ito, Johnny Edgar, and Andrea Brachetti.
Edgar and Ito. Ito going wide. Edgar had that line down the inside. But Edgar up into 15th. Lovely move.
Third place, the 31 of Matt Laubser, battling with Christoph Herbino. These two are very close together. Herbino, we know him very well here at Apex Racing TV. It looks like he's just waiting for the opportunity to pounce for third, try and get on the podium for the first time this season.
And just look at the pack of cars in front of him. This is just about for second. Alcaraz, Laubser, and Herbino. And we got 2 lap cars in the 26, almost getting tapped by Laubser. Laubser goes wide, and here comes Herbino. Herbino down the inside, straight through the middle, and he's back on the gearbox of Alcaraz.
Oh, multiple cars off track. Looks like they're lap cars. No issue for the leaders. Herbino now battling Alex Alcaraz. This is all 5 seconds behind the leader. Raul Hyman has checked out from this field.
Yeah, he really knows how to work the traffic here, and the traffic has just been absolutely crazy here today. As Christopher Herbino dancing all that gearbox here at Donington, getting into the ground just a little bit, but very smooth coming back onto the tracks. We ride on his front suspension right now, chasing down Alcaraz.
The slipstream down one of the longest straightaways on the track. Doesn't get close enough in the chicane, but he keeps that distance in between him and Alcaraz. Possible move and into 1. He's going to stay behind him on the gearbox.
That was a safe move by Herbino. He could have looked down to the inside, but it's very dangerous to even try that, especially when you guys are especially fighting for second place. And we just passed halfway through this race right now, so you're going to start thinking of more dangerous moves here and there, but I'm going to say about lap 30, 35 is when we're going to really see Herbino try to send something into turn 1. Right now your best bet is try to get him on the straight or catch him sleeping in a corner, or send it absolutely into the chicane.
Still on board with Herbino, down Starkey straight into the final chicane. They're 9-10 back onto the front straightaway. Orbito losing a bit of ground to Alcaraz. Lap times last time by 1:01.53. I'm sorry, 1 minute 88. The time for Orbito 1:01.19. So a starking lap time difference between these two. As you're now looking at Samuel Hermer, Matt Laubser, the battle for fourth.
On board with Samuel Hermer behind Matt Laubser, getting a bit onto the grass right there. So the car sliding just a little bit as they come out of that rising turn. There's a car off onto the outside, all up in that gravel.
Luca Varani battling with the 53. No, that's a lap car. The 50. Oh, sorry, no. That is the 50 in front of him. Battle for 20th with Vincenzo Vinny Moroni. Oh, both in the grass. Oh, my God.
A lot of cars going off track right there. That's a very popular spot to go off track, and I'm very surprised that a lot of these guys have stayed it out there. It just shows you the skill of this entire field right now. As we ride on board with Marone, looking at Varani. Varani getting very loose. Going through that right-hander. Small advantage for Vincenzo Vinny Monroe. Through the chicane they go, but what a line that Varani just took.
Looking back on Luca Varani, battle for 12th. Look at how much sand is right there, and they go off track again.
That's the only fast way around this track. No safety rating being implied, as this is a league, so you can go off track as much as you want, but you have to be wary for that off-track limit that is set in this league. And then that'll just pose another question with how you going to get to the pit lane safely. Because we already saw one car trying to go into the pit lane, and that ended in absolute devastation.
Look at this battle. Alcaraz, lap car going to pull out of the way, but here goes Urbano. 92 to the inside, makes it 3 wide.
And Urbano down to the inside of Alcaraz, up into second place. And there it is, lap 28 out of 45. Urbano now into second, and now beginning that 5-second climb back into the lead. But Ralsei Hyman looks like he's in a practice session right now. It's an absolutely clean track ahead of him. Clean air behind. He's got a few lap cars blocking for him. By a few, I mean about 3. And he's got a clear track ahead of him as well. Sector 1, 200ths to Hyman.
Hyman has an easy 5-second gap over Urbano, but we've seen how quickly that gap can stretch, but can it just as quickly shrink as Urbano now has clean air in second, trying to catch Hyman. No pressure behind him. The gap to Alcaraz now is around 2 seconds, and Alcaraz is battling with Hermer right now.
Yeah. Urbano getting some great draft from the 34th and 35th drivers in front of him. And he gets past right there, but there's Hermer side by side with Alcaraz. This is a battle for third place. You see Urbano getting into clean air. These two guys, third place, is not giving up that fight very easily. Side by side, they're still going into that tight right-hander. Both of them not going off the grasses. Oh, there's a Formula Ford down there. And right behind him is Stratos. Gets it to the front wing of Laubser. And Curly gets this. This is a great recovery drive by him. As Alex Alcaraz up into the chicane. With Hermer on his gearbox, followed by Curly gets this and Laubser. Your battle for third. Four-way. Laubser at the back end of it.
Alcaraz in the 26, trying to hold off Samuel Hermer in the 1. This is a battle for third, the final podium spot. Alcaraz looks to be trying to check out on this field. They head through 4. Got to hit that sand on the outside. Some cars going off track. Now through turn 5. Through 6. Turn 7. They're going to go uphill into turn 8. As Alcaraz tries to pull away from Hermer, and he's doing so right now.
He took a very different line off the exit, trying to break that draft, and Mir is full of Kurgalixis, and Kurgalixis trying to send it around the outside into the chicane. That's going to be very tight to make that move, and Kurgalixis and Labs are going side by side. Here's the battle for 7th between Garcia and Lucas. Garcia sends it down to the inside. Now back to the battle for 5th place. Kurgalixis and Labser. Kurgalixis sending it down to the inside. Labser trying to hold it around to the outside of the braking zone, but Kurgalixis gets around him into 5th place. And that's Philip Lucas into the pit lane. And, oh, yeah, no doubt about that. Look at that front wing.
Back to Kurgalixis. We saw him battling for the lead earlier on. Ended up getting her into a wreck coming through turn 10. Final corner on this racetrack. Now sits back in 5th. Battling with Matt Laubser, who wants that 5th spot. Looking forward at Samuel Hermer in the 1, trying to take over 4th. But right now, Matt Laubser all over the gearbox to the inside. Through turn 9 and 10, and he's going to give up that position. Laubser up to 5th, Kurgalixis into 6th.
There's a little bit of contact right there on corner entry. Little small tire-to-tire rub from Laubser. And, oh my goodness, this is a crab. Richard Wedstead is performing a moonwalk on the track right now. And this is how he got there. 9-car big spin, and unfortunately, right in front of Wedstead. And oh no! And he gets into the pit lane very safely. As here's the battle for A between G and Nagler.
Nagler battling the 44. He got past him for a second, but now G's going to be on the inside.
Nagler has the speed, though, off the exit. The G's got the inside line, but the speed around the outside is so good here around Donington Park. It would be more preferred to go around the outside, but the inside line heading to the chicane is going to be absolutely key. G, Nagler, G down to the inside. Up to the end, gets onto those red sausage grips, and here comes Nagler off the exit.
What a pass for Marcus G. Gets the pass done, but here comes Nick Nagler right on the gearbox once again. They race down through turn 3.
With that 120 miles an hour underneath the bridge. Up the hill they go. There's a little left, right up here. It's a very tricky exit. As it flattens out at the top. Nagler dancing on that gearbox of G in front of him. You can just hear him lifting off early and just planning just to follow G for a little bit more. They're coming up to a lapped car. That's the 82 in front of him. That 82 is actually just going to let them right by.
Looking at Clemens, Punzen Gruber in the 82. He has Stuart Milne behind, in front of him. Giovanni Salito behind. As he sits in 17th, 27 positions gained so far today. Great position gain for him. I believe he is currently tied. No, he is not. Giovanni Salito is the biggest mover today. 31 positions he has gained throughout today's race. Great race from him. Mark Alcaraz is the biggest loser, losing 41 spots so far today. He has scored down in 48th.
Yeah, we're looking at Andrea Brachetti. They've been having an amazing day. Up 28 spots, sitting in 16th and leading that battle for 13th right behind between Ito, Cardi, and everybody else. But here is our leader who's just been on fire today. Raul J. Hyman in that 29 car. 4 seconds clear of Christopher Herberto, but he's been losing time to Herberto ever so slightly with 10 laps to go. There's a car off ahead in front of him, and he's got a little bit of traffic to work with. That'll be the 59 of Kirkwood, Monroe, and Luciano Lorenzo ahead. And he has to get off the throttle, tap the brakes a little bit to avoid the 5, who is Steve Rubens.
And Hyman has lost a bit of time to Herberto behind him. The gap now 3.9 seconds, and you can see on the lap comparisons, Herberto faster on 3 out of the 5 laps, but he still is in front. It has those lap traffic for Herberto to battle. One car in the grass, not exactly sure who that was. We'll see if we can grab an update.
That was the 73 of Antonio Rzuski, who saw Hyman right behind him and decided that he's just going to take the easy route out and not harm his pink cat, which is a beautiful car, I must say. Great Red Bull joke design. And oh no! That's a 17 of Kaito Icho. And he's off the track and he's doing donuts right now. And oh, he's joined by another car. And oh, that's a 92. That's Herberto. Christopher Herberto got involved with the pink cat. Herberto's been involved in an incident. And oh no. Done. Oh no, that is just the wrong place, wrong time.
Wow, that is not what Christoph Herberto needed. Now scored down in 6th place.
And there's chaos all around him now. But he's got a lot of damage and he's going to be heading into the pit lane. And that is definitely not a good day for Christopher Herberto.
He has no choice but to come into pit road. That front wing is done. He does have a faster pair to work with, so this will not be that long in pit road. But he will be able to get back out on the track, but it will not be for long, as he is now scored in 9th and coming out of pit road.
He was looking so good in 2nd place and charging up to the lead. But that is extremely unfortunate for Christopher Herberto as we're watching this battle for set between Nagler and G.
Nick Nagler battling with Marcus G. Up through turn 8 onto the long straightaway. This is where we see majority of the passes get set up with this long straightaway for the slipstream.
You can also set up on the other end by taking a conservative line through the chicane and then nailing that chicane really well. But here comes Mark. Here comes Lucas on Maruk. Side by side to go into the chicane. Lucas down to the inside, backhand kicking out a lot, and here comes Maruk on the switchback. But Maruk's going slow down the straight, might be having some aero damage as G and Nagler still side by side. G round to the outside, stays in 7th place. As we have 5 laps to go, this time by as Raul Hyman crosses the line this time.
Alcaraz now in 2nd, 8.4 seconds is the gap. Alcaraz cannot close that gap right now, but he is slightly faster last time by. But Hyman just so consistent with his lap times. Runs the same line pretty much every lap. So he gets pretty much the same lap time. And I mean, his last lap was a 1 minute 67. His fastest time was a 1 minute 55. You can really just see how he has not lost any time in that car.
Yeah, this is 10th slower than his fastest ever lap. And Raul Hyman is crazy consistent right now. And there's nothing he did wrong any part of today. As we're looking at Marcus G. Sitting in 7th place. Nagler falling behind him. Sonny Rosario in 9th. Being chased down by Philip Lucas. Right behind him, dancing on his gearbox. Lucas Maruk in 11th place. Followed by Luca Ferrari in 12th. In that 2-2-2. And Luca down 7 spots where he started. But he's been absolutely pushing it back forward. Dives out to the inside to break out that draft of Brashidi. But Brashidi sending it around the outside. So I'm guessing that was less of a break the draft to just let them by. They know who's faster in this situation. They don't want to cause any problems. As Rosario, Lucas continue their battle. Both of them go down to the inside of the lap car. Let's ride on board with Lucas. Race down the hill into that right-hander. You can just see by the tire wear on the ground, like how many people just slide their F3 cars through this corner. Lucas on the gearbox, almost bump drafting him. As they go up the hill, here comes Lucas looking down to the inside. Decides not to. He knows a better opportunity to make the overtake in the draft. Rosario defending down to the inside. Then he gives up the defensive spot. Here comes Rosario looking down to the inside. Send it through the chicane. Hops onto one of those curves, but Lucas up into 9th.
Up to Alcaraz, fighting with lap traffic right now. He still is a considerable margin back from Raul Hyman. I don't think he's going to be able to catch him, but there goes Samuel Hermer to the outside. He made the pass happen. Hermer to 2nd. Oh, and another car loose going off of the rumble strips. That looked like the 31 of Matt Laubser, who now goes to the outside of Alcaraz. Doesn't make the pass happen. Alcaraz going to keep 3rd, but there's Matt Laubser in the 31 right behind.
Now this battle for 2nd is really starting to heat up. 3-car battle. Hermer, Alcaraz, and Laubser. Half a second ahead of Alcaraz. As
that lap car got loose. Oh, that was Samuel Hermer, my bad.
As they are behind a few lap cars. That's the number 7 in front of them of Adam Talsma. And he's sitting in 18th place. And, oh my. Who's that? It's a 5.
The lap car.
That is Steve Rubens.
Oh my. That is not a good place to wreck. It's the same place we've seen everybody wreck pretty much today. That final chicane biting a lot of cars tonight.
We're looking back at our battle for third. G is checked out as Laubser, Alcaraz, and Kurla Kitsis now entering that fight for third. Also on the table is our battle for seventh between G and Nagler. G holding down that inside line. That 44 looking strong. Laubser and Alcaraz. Battle for third. And here's our leader. White flag is in the air here at Donington Park. He's got a clear 12-second gap lead right now. Absolutely dominating today.
He has led every single lap since the beginning of this race. Just an insane pace from Raul Hyman. An amazing race for him, and he is going to finish it out on this final lap. If he can make one more clean one, he'll be heading to victory lane. We're taking a look at Marcus G in a huge battle.
Yeah, G got Garcia. Garcia's going slow down the front straight. Garcia's holding that inside line. Almost gets into the side. G, he does give G a little bit of side. A little bit of a side job fight. And G gets onto his wheel, and that wheel is bouncing around. And there, iRacing God, Damage Model Gods have praised the 22 of Garcia. And he's kept his wheel and keeping the lead all the way through. Raul J. Hyman takes the victory here at Donington Park for the IGP Fun League Round 2 here at Donington.
Harmer in second. Laubser comes home third. Alcaraz fourth. Rounding out your top five. Stratos Kurla Kitsis. Great rebound for him.
Yep. Bounce back up to fifth after falling down after a massive incident in the chicane. And G's going through the chicane right now with Nagler. Nagler's got a great run. Can he have enough? Side-by-side drag race here in Donington Park. It's going to be G by 0.06 of a second.
Everybody else making their way across the line. Luciano Lorenzo in 16th, going to take home that spot. Andrea Brachetti up 26 spots to finish 15th. What a race.
Absolutely fantastic race for these guys. There's Kirkwood, and these guys, they've already finished their lap, and they're just pulling into the pits right now.
Antonio Rusevsky coming across the line.
Rusevsky also heading into the pit lane. Yeah. But everyone has came across the line and finished here today for the IGP Fun League here at Donington Park in the National Circuit on the iRacing Esports Network. It's Raul J. Hyman taking the victory, followed by Samuel Hermer. And that Earth card makes even more sense now. Followed by Matt Laubser, Alex Alcaraz, Stratos Kurla Kitsis, Marcus NG, Nick Nagler, Philip Lucas, Sonny Rosario, Lucas Maruk, Vito Garcia, Luca Verarni, Andrea Brachetti, Luciano Lorenzo, Nick Carty, Russell Kirkwood, Richard Wetstead, Adam Talsma in 18th place. They're followed by Stuart Milan, Rod McGuire, Koji Aito, Andy Flint, Giovanni Soletto, Vincenzo Monroro, Clemens Punzengruber, Zoltan Zomortor, Johan Bergeson, Chuck Baru in 28th, followed by Ron Korlak, Ben E. White, Dirk Provley, Henry Robert, Antonio Brzezinski, Nolan Alar, Lucas Lackner, Steve Rubens, Christopher Herberto, Tiago Andre in 38th, followed by Johnny Edgar, Luca Bray, Waldemar Cardella, Richard Veen, JJ Gonzalez, Yuri Biosire, Kenneth Simonson, Alec Boss, Zachary Beeson, Mark Alcaraz in 48th. They're followed by Dave Martin, Clark Williams, and Reed Dennis, who I believe didn't take the start. But that has been your race here for the iGP Fun-F3 series presented by VRS. I'm going to leave Joshua with a few closing comments.
I mean, just an insane race. I mean, all day. No, a lot of wrecks around, but nothing too major involving too many cars. We had a clean start. Everybody got onto their own race at their own pace, but the sheer domination from Raul Hyman leading every single lap. He had battles. He had people coming up to him trying to battle, but every time he would pull away from them after the battle was over. Just a great race, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this series. Watkins Glen, Donington. Next week is going to be even more exciting.
Yeah, next week we're going to be at Suzuka GP for the iGPFun-F3. You don't want to miss it here on the iRacing Esports Network. I've been joined by Joshua Lee with Marco Barbadari in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a great night.